Respected dignitaries, all my dear souls, my dear friends, the soul of yours is extremely powerful. It is said that a day comes when probably our respect is lost, our position is lost, or something is always lost, but the soul is not lost at all. Because the soul, which is a part of the spirit soul, the Jivatma, is a part of the Paramatma. So the soul can never be lost at any point of time. Dignified self is what it is called. You are called as Mr. Dignified, but your soul is the dignified self or the part of you yourself. That is the reason spirituality taps this infinite power which is deep inside you, meant only for the general welfare of the whole of this mankind. Today, between you and me, let us respect the dimensions of time and space. This is what I have written in the second chapter of this book. Without time and space, we just cannot coexist with each other. We cannot coexist with divinity. We cannot ever coexist with the spirit inside you. Your thoughts, your feelings, everything has to coexist within you. This is very important for all of you to understand, and spirituality is what is going to touch the very base of your soul, and that is the reason time and space plays a very, very crucial role in our life. Wherever and whatever we do, there is always a time factor existing within us. There is always a space factor that is existing within us. Whatever we do, we cannot exist today without time and space. When we are physically born, the soul is trapped in the body, but when you touch the soul, automatically you will transcend time and space. That is the reason for the mind to become very calm. We have to understand, we have to touch base with our soul. For that, we say, let us befriend time, which is an essential factor within us. We have to understand, we have to befriend time with discipline. If you look at the beautiful history of our forefathers, of our elders, today of eminent people, they always say, follow time through discipline. Without discipline, we cannot follow time at all. If time has to be within our control, then the second important point is we have to activate our willpower. Our willpower is extremely important, and without willpower, a humankind, or what we say, the human life, is just nothing. It is nothing but a bag of bones and flesh. We have to activate our willpower, which is called as Ichha Shakti. This is very, very important. And then to activate the willpower, we should have a particular goal in life. We have to have that goal as the power of resolution, the Sankalpa Shakti. We have to will, and that will acts through. It acts through our mind. It acts through and piercing our mind from well within our very own soul itself. Without Sankalpa, a human being is not at all a human being. But with Sankalpa, the human being becomes an enlightened being. It becomes a divine being in general. So that is what we have to understand. Why do we do so? Because let us remember the age-old proverb that time and tide doesn't wait for any man. Time and tide never ever waits for anybody, including a great personality. It doesn't wait for anything. When it concerns time, all of us are on an equal footing in day-to-day life. That is why time is just everything that is very, very important for all of us. How do we inculcate this kind of a power within us? we have to push ourselves to a kind of an external discipline. It leads to organized living and principled thinking. So how do we do that? We say, first follow the external discipline, number one. And number two, internal discipline leads to meditative living and blissful being. Basically, our body works on biological rhythms. This means that we do the same thing at the same time every day. The body knows exactly what biochemicals and hormones to generate for these activities. This is very important. We know that, but somebody has to tell it out. Somebody has to openly express it out to us. That is why we say the body exactly knows what biochemicals and hormones to generate for these activities. So let us keep it ready and waiting before to begin any particular activity. If you want to have a bath, yes, you can, but the body becomes ready. You get a fresh feeling. Why do we do that? Because the biochemical energy, the bioelectrical energy, and the biorhythmic energy works because that sankalpa, without you knowing, every day you are making a sankalpa, you are making a resolution, I am going to have a bath, I am going to have a shower. That is what it does. So it keeps us ready, and before we begin any particular activity is very, very important. So first, let us discipline the body. So we say, just like fixing regular meal times, our sleep cycles should also be regulated. All of us need good sleep to enhance the physical and the mental health in our lives. This is very, very important. So there should be a kind of a regulatory system that we should incorporate or inculcate in our day-to-day life. Without that, you cannot tap the energy of your soul. Just a body mechanism will not do, just a thought will not do, or just even positive thinking can never help you at all. The reason is because positive thinking definitely goads you up, definitely propels you up, but it cannot solve the existing karma that is already latently hidden inside your body. That is the reason, if you are a soul which is not generating much of a karma, then all this kind of a good positive emotions will definitely help you. But if it is not generating any good intentions or it doesn't generate any good karma, then automatically positive emotions cannot take you very, very far. That is the reason we say, basically, you should fix a time for your meditation also. It is meditation which touches and taps the power of your soul. Very, very important. It is meditation which taps and completely re-energizes you to understand the power of your soul. So when we condition the body and the mind like this, the mind begins to earn for its daily dose of meditation when the hour approaches. That is the reason here I particularly say every day at least for 15 minutes, whatever be the time in the morning, just sit and meditate. How do we do meditation? There is nothing particular to do meditation. You have to just sit and lose yourself in all kinds of thoughts. The first step is you have to lose yourself in all kinds of thoughts. It can be an obnoxious thought, it can be a divine thought, it can be a loathsome thought, it can be a blissful thought, it can be any thought. But first start practicing. Allow your subconscious to empty itself of the past vasanas or the tendencies of so many lives which the soul has undergone through different bodies. That is very, very important. Today, you are not carrying just a load of anything. You have been carrying different loads from the past lives as well. And our Sanatana Dharma has proved that life has to pass through many, many lifetimes of different bodies. That is the reason we see lot of wonderful, soul-lifting people who are born as child prodigies. We find child prodigies do come because the soul has undergone a bit of transformation, and from the previous bodies it carries all the tendencies of either being a musician, either being a talented doctor, either being a philosopher, so on and so forth. You will get solitude, peace and bliss that revitalizes your very, very self itself. Today, when people say, I want peace, all the kind of enlightened beings do sell. You remove the eyes, you remove all the wants, and what is left is only peace. Remove the ego factor, the I, remove all the desires of yourself, whatever be it, and then what you remains in life is basically peace. That is why we must choose the time of our meditation very carefully and then follow it punctually. Because disciplining the heart, disciplining your feelings, disciplining your emotions do play a very, very vital role in your lives. Meditation is easy when you know the actual techniques. The technique is not actually sitting and praying, not sitting and meditating. First of all, you have to align your soul to the part of meditation where you draw the immense power of yourself. Likewise, meditating in the same place every day is equally important. The reason is because the mind is basically a creature of habit. All of us are accustomed to a particular habit and to associate with certain activity. We should associate yourself with this first, primarily by activating of energy or activating our meditation itself. Further, we should always remember, I will resolve today when you activate, because remember you are touching the base of your soul. For that, a resolution is required. You say, today I respect and value the time and the space that has been given to me by divinity or by God or what other form of God you believe in. That is why I am going to value time and actually cherish this single minute as a wonderful minute every time when I sit to meditate. Just like we follow studies, just like we follow our own evolution in other worldly matters, likewise every day you should resolve, this moment is very precious for me, because tomorrow we don't know whether we are going to stay alive or whether we are going to lose something or the other. That is the reason the Sankalpa Shakti is the power of your soul. You make a resolution. You need not have any kind of a religious rites or rituals based on that. You just have to make an order to your soul. Look, I am going to find my peace. Please help me, my soul, to sit and meditate and to find peace and power. That is what we say. So dear friends, we have to understand that the sense of discipline and the value of it into our life, we have to manage our body in the domain of time and space. Today, we have to have a body to carry the soul forward. For that, we have to understand discipline is very, very essential to synchronize our body and mind with the vibrations of our soul. That is why today, let us totally look into a different dimensions of time and space. Today, we think we are exercising our free will in this beautiful life of ours. Unfortunately, the free will that exists in us is only 3 to 4%. We only exercise our free will only for 3 to 4%. Why are we not exercising our free will? We have got 4 important factors that totally don't control our life. So we have to understand this factor. And what are these 4 factors where we cannot have any choice at all in our life? So we say we cannot choose the time, place or circumstances of our own birth. Number 1. We cannot choose the time, place or circumstances of our own birth. Number 2. We cannot choose our parents. Number 3. We cannot choose our own children. And number 4. We cannot choose the time, place or mode of our own death. The 3-4 factors are that we cannot choose what we really should be choosing in our lives. So that is why I am telling you right now, the free will that all of us are exercising is only 2 or 3%, because our thoughts, feelings, our choices are subtly dictated by our own karma. This is one truth you have to understand. You cannot choose the right choices in your life. Everything is subtly dictated by your own very karma itself. So if we want to change all of this and enlarge the scope of our free will, we must transform our thinking patterns completely by disciplining the mind. And to do this, to discipline the mind, we have to have our own willpower. We have to tap our own soul, which has many divine powers around it and which are to be activated when we sit and meditate. You transcend the body and the mind senses and you come to your soul because you are activating it when you meditate. If you don't meditate, you cannot activate the power of your soul. Why am I telling you this? Because the soul gives out or drives out the energy, and the prominent of these powers from the soul are the power of will, number 1, the power of understanding or comprehension, and the power of action. We call it in Sanskrit as Ichcha Shakti, Jnana Shakti and Kriya Shakti. The Ichcha Shakti comes from the power of soul. The Jnana Shakti comes out from the power of soul, and the Kriya Shakti, the ability to activate, comes from the soul itself. It doesn't come from the mind at all. Remember, in your life, there are 3 relationships you will have permanently. One is our relationship with the materialistic world, our relationship with the divine world, and our relationship with our soul. Our relationship with the materialistic world happens automatically as you go on educating yourself. Automatically you go on to expand the power of your mind, and then everything starts happening. Our relationship with our soul, even though is very subtly dictated, it cannot be activated. That is the reason it is said, when you have to tap your soul, the power of your soul, the first thing you should do is you have to blend the qualities of love, care, compassion, patience and forgiveness in your life. You should be very calm, you should be very tranquil, you should be always at peace within yourself. Then automatically you start touching and activating the power of your soul. Remember, God does not recognize our intelligence. God does not recognize our sharpness. God does not recognize our educational qualifications. He does not recognize our skills. He doesn't recognize our wealth, fame, reputation and profession, because these are basically the fruits of our own karma. That is the reason we say, when you go to worship God, you just ask for kripa. You just ask for the grace. The rest you say, it is all a fruit of my own karma and I am offering it to you. This is very important we understand, because he recognizes only the divine qualities and the characteristics in us. So if we have too many materialistic desires, too much of aims and ambitions, they shrink our minds and drive out the peace, so that we cannot meditate anymore. Instead, we strengthen the power of resolution through discipline. Our resolutions become extremely effective and they start materializing immediately. From an ordinary human being, you become a divine being, and from a divine being, you start becoming an enlightened being, because what the whole of this world requires is, from an enlightened being, is just to activate their own soul power, and so that we can achieve whatever you have today in life today. So that is the reason. Let us all enjoy the peace, the prosperity and bliss in this way for the rest of our lives. I pray to the Divine Mother, my Guru, Sri Sri Nimishamba, for your own enlightenment, for your own power of peace, for your power of resolution, and for your power that you shall be a better divine and an enlightened being from today for the rest of your lives. I pray for everybody. Lokaha samastaha sukhino bhavantu, sarve jana sukhino bhavantu, bahujana hitaye, bahujana sukhaye. May all beings be happy. Jai Mata.